Hello Tubesters, welcome to another one of my videos. Yes, yes, I'm doing a video, Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos, Tubesters. This is, alright, what are we kidding ourselves? Quick? I never do quick videos. But it's, I just wanted to show you the sketch on the bust that I'm painting. I was painting the arms last night. I've still got a few hours, which I've already shot that part of the video, but there's no painting involved. It really is just explaining how I put a sketch on the figure. I can't remember if I have shown you on other videos, I believe, but it's, some of the guys have been saying they wouldn't mind having a go at painting one of these busts. They are an acquired taste, as I joked with somebody in the comments. I don't get a lot of love for this type of work that I do. It's not massively appealing to people, but it's my channel and it's what I like to do, so I'm doing it. But for those that are interested in how you get to paint something like this, I am no expert. I don't paint box art. There are a lot of my books out there. I've told you about the AK FAQ, frequently asked questions, yeah, FAQ book. It's around £70. It might have gone down a few quid. It's not cheap, but it will serve you well if you wanted to go down that road. But if you don't, and you like me, I've spent years just picking out things that I see on people's videos, or you know, whatever. I just love figure painting, so I'm always trying to improve. But yeah, I just want to show you how I do a sketch, and why I do a sketch. So that's it really. So thank you for stopping by in advance and taking a look at my video. I always do these, if I do them afterwards, I've already said all this at the end of the video, but yeah, thanks. So let's go down to the bench and take a quick look. Right guys, thanks for joining me at the bench. I have several windows open around the top floor of the house, and just as I'm making this second part of the video, there's lots of things crashing and banging outside, so I do apologise if you hear any of that noise in the background. Right, this is our guy so far. I'll get in a bit closer in a minute. So you can see that this is what I call a sketch, or my version of a sketch. So what we've done is put the deepest shadows in. Then I've gone for a highlight. It's not going to be the final highlight, but it's a highlight enough to show me where the raised areas that I want to highlight, if that makes sense. And then I've put what we call mid-tone in, which self-explanatory, it's the mid-tone between the two. Again, all of these will be worked on, like the arms I'm going to show you now. In this case, let's go a bit closer. Right, the very darkest, which on the face there isn't as much as there is in on his arms and that. Now that's rubber black, and I've used chocolate brown for the mid-tone and canvas tone for the highlights. But in between all that, which we'll now go to the arms, as usual I've got too bright a light on. Let's just see if we can down that a bit, if it makes any difference. You can start seeing, hopefully start seeing some variation in the tones. What I've also put in here is orange brown as a final highlight, and on top of the mid-tone I've also put flat brown, which is a reddy brown, or an orangey brown as well. I didn't want the guy to have a, I'm trying to put the right words in so I don't get hung by anybody. I didn't want it to be jet black, if that makes sense. I wanted to be some rich tones in there. I've painted, you can just about see them here. Let me just see, because I'm having to see around it. Right here, they're veins that I've painted in there. They're not sculpted on. Most of these busts don't tend to, some do, but most tend to not have veins put in. You have to put them in yourself. and there's separate different ways of doing it. On this one, I've never painted black skin before, and I wanted to just see how it went with the veins. There's not a load in there. I've put probably 4, 5, 6. I've accentuated the folds in the skin, but the veins themselves I just used violet red because I knew it would add to the dark skin tones, but still show through, if that makes sense. I did put a couple, not so much on this arm. I think I put them more on the other arm, just crossing the bone structure under there. I'm looking at this and I'm not sure how much you're going to actually see under the lights. I've done a fair bit of stippling, which gives the skin texture. Now you're not looking for stippling obviously like the jacket, flak jacket, but you're just trying to put in some texture into the skin. You don't have to. Some people paint them completely smooth. I've used the canvas before I put the orange brown on to put more wrinkles in the knuckles. The nails haven't been painted yet. I will put, like, there was a couple of scabby bits, I'm trying to find it now, like here. Well, I think that was more to do probably with me putting fingerprint, or so it's not well, could be a glue. I'm not sure if it's in the cast or if it was my fault, but I'm making that into some scratches on his skin, and he'll have some more around to start to ready up the elbows very slightly, where he's been using his elbows to pull himself along on the, when he's been flat on his stomach. And there is somewhere, I think that's around there somewhere, there's a little dinging, and I'm making that into a scratch as well. This one isn't so far forward. There still needs to be more work on that arm I've just shown you, but this one, as you can see, where you've got this more outline there, that needs to be blended in more. What I'm doing is stippling over that to blend it in more. More shadow areas will be on this, so I might do a fair amount of work and then still shadow it up more. But it's just seeing where you go with your paintbrush, really. You can see it's still very I've hardly touched this side at all yet. I mean, something like that would normally take me a couple of hours to paint, which is more or less a late night. I don't normally pick this up until about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, when I finish the commission build. And then I have the odd night off with it when I'm making the models. So yeah, I just wanted to show you what you do with it. When people are talking about, you'll hear, not that there's a ton of this type of work on YouTube, but when people put a sketch in, and that can be on anything. It can be on your, I sketched in the t-shirt. You don't have to do it. It's everybody, each to their own. But I've found it has been useful for me. I've been sketching on the last 2 or 3 busts, and what I'll do next, once I've done the sketching, I'll do his eyes next, and then I'll paint the face in general. But I won't touch that yet until the arms are completely done and I'm happy with them. But I wanted I needed a basic to all 3 points, just so I didn't have one arm looking, a lot different colour than the other, or the face. There will be different colour, obviously, because we've got light coming in from this side, say. So this side I'm trying to light up more than that side, which is where the sketching comes in again, because we've already pre-shaded it with the airbrush, and we've then put obviously our rubber black in more shadow areas here. So yeah, I just wanted to explain sketching, really, and just say to you, well, this is if you hear me talk about it, or somebody else, or if you want to give one of these guys a go, you don't have to go down that way of doing things, and sometimes when you first do it, you don't think it's really working. But if you can see the face, as I say, that's had nothing else done to it. That is just the rubber black is in the shadow areas, the canvas picking out the highlighted areas I want to highlight more later on, and the mid-tone of the chocolate brown, and then, as I say, I will then work up into like the shadow areas. I'll merge more chocolate brown into the shadow areas. Obviously we'll paint in more of the flat brown then starts coming in, just to give a more nicer hue to the colours I want to use. And then we'll put some orange brown on into the very high points. So yeah, it's you know, there's lots of different ways you can paint all types of skin tones. You just have to look at some photographs of real people. In this case, I looked at African American soldiers in Vietnam. You have to be a bit careful with period photographs, because obviously they can be a bit more faded, or depending on, you know, the type of film at the time. So you just got to be a tad careful of that, but it does still give you a good idea. You know, it's and I've even been looking at different photographs, like from the Battle of Hue for the Marines there, because there's lots of guys with different scratches and all that, and just getting an idea what scratch. I mean, we all know what scratches look like on us, but you know, obviously transferring it to the bust. So, one of the other things, when you're, be careful, I keep using this sharp cocktail stick. Once you've done your sketch, I've said this before, so I'm not going to go massively into it, but you want to be moving your paintbrush in the direction you want to put more pigment in. So if you want to put lighter colours up into this cheekbone here, where we've already put our sketch of where we want light colours to go, you would work from halfway down, say this, underneath that light colour, and you would push your paintbrush up, because where the paintbrush leaves the figure, the most pigment will be deposited. So in the shadow areas, this little dark bit here, where you want to leave slightly, obviously your very darkest shadow area, so your rubber black, you want to leave that there. So what you'll do is you'll come in from just below that high point with your, say, chocolate brown, and you would push towards the darkest areas with your paintbrush. I mean, when I say push, I mean obviously it's just a light touch, but you know what I mean. You move your paintbrush into the darkest areas, because as your paintbrush lifts off the figure, that's where your pigments will be deposited. So, you know, you don't want to be pushing. So it's too easy to, especially if you've been used to painting smaller figures, to move your paintbrush, say, oh, I'm going to go in just this direction because that's where the high point is, and it is. But if you've got a darker colour, you don't want to be covering that high point with it, if that makes sense. You want that to be your highlight, unless you want to change that tone with a different colour. Like this, I won't just go straight to orange brown. I will put some of that flat brown with that nice rich orangey red hue to it. I'll put that on top first, but very weakly. So this is still shining through, but we've changed the tone of the colour, and then I'll put some orange brown on. But yeah, so whatever you're doing, let's move this out of the way so you can see the thing again. Wherever you want your colour to be deposited, you have to move in that direction. So in the darkest recess here, we'll be moving our chocolate brown, our mid-tone, into that area. Now we may put it on top of this dark rubber black completely, or we might just leave a very faint outline, but we will blend into that with our colour. And as we sweep down and we take our paintbrush away, that's where the majority of our pigment's going to end up being deposited. And again, if we're looking at our highlights here, we'd go somewhere down, there we go, somewhere down here, and move up, and then take our paintbrush off. And that's where your highlights will become a more highlighted colour, because there's more paint left on that. As you move your paintbrush off, that's where more paint will be deposited. That is as clear as mud, isn't it? but I have gone through it before, so you know, I can't even tell you what videos I've gone on. I just, you know, I ramble away, but if that's been of some help, then I've done my job. So look after yourselves, guys. We'll catch each other soon. There will be some 28 mils figures coming up for the guys that like my 28mm painting. I'm beavering away on the Napoleonic Commission. There's no point in showing that, I don't think, until I've got them stuck down on a base. I might do. I might. When I've got that, I'm working on the Voltigeur company at the moment. So when I've done the Grenadiers company as well, I might show a couple of them off. I've still got to finish my 2 Vietnam figures yet in 28mm. I've got some German Paras primed. I've got some Wild West primed. I haven't forgotten about doing. Somebody asked me to do a tutorial on the base. It's just been I've been obviously trying to get stuck into the commission work, and I have a set amount of time in my head that I need to spend on those before I do stuff like the bust or anything else. But yeah, the Badger, that's coming along. I'll be probably working on the Badger tomorrow night. So that's it's not ready for a video yet, but we're getting closer. I probably won't show that. I might show it before I put the textures, all the different textures on, or I might do that. You know, I'm going to do some armour texture and some flame cuts and stuff like that. So that's that. The bike, I've been putting those. I had one almost twist up and get wrecked, but I've just about saved it. The pinstriping around I haven't done any more yet. I need to do I've only got 2 more to do. I got it down to about 10 minutes of pinstripe. I got cocky though on that last one. I thought I was going better. I thought, yeah, I'm getting you know, they're still not lying down because they are really thick, and they probably are. You know, as one of the guys said, for guys that don't know a lot of decals, they probably are good for beginners. And I build like a beginner, so it's probably a bit for me as well. But it's just when they might be okay on larger surface areas, but in these deep recesses, they do not want to conform one little bit. But we're getting there. So yeah, the bike will just, I think it's just going to just ramble on in the background. I'm not putting it. It's not going to be a shelf queen, because it is. I know there'll be a point when I've got enough done that I can get some of that magic green paint on, and we can start sticking bits of bike together. And once that happens, it will go together all within a short amount of time. So anyway, look after yourselves. This was supposed to be talking about the sketch. So yeah, I hope that's been of some help, and hopefully the next time you see him, I'll have him all. I'm probably going to show you just a reveal after that, because I don't see the point in, you know, working on the helmet and showing you the flesh tones and then the helmet, because the helmet's more or less almost done. So I'm more than likely will just beaver away in the background. I don't know, you know what I'm like. I might stick a video up, but yeah, look after yourselves. Thank you very much for the kind words over the Eggplane group build. I appreciate it, and we'll speak soon.